all teachers, students, and seekers of peace and compassion. I know this is a challenging time on our planet and in our nation. Sometimes I fear that peace is so far from our reach. Can we hold it in our own hearts and souls, and then share it in every moment, to every person, and hold it steadfast in ourselves? Thank you all who engage in this brave and necessary work, all teachers, all students, and seekers of peace. Reading is an excerpt from Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen's book, My Grandfather's Blessing. I can clearly remember something that happened when I was in the 3rd grade. I was walking with my mother on a downtown street in New York City, pushing through crowds on our way to I no longer remember where. I had just been put into a special class at school because I had done well on an IQ test, and my new teacher had told us that being in her class meant that we were brighter than most of the people in the country. As we moved through the hurrying crowds, I remembered this and was filled with an 8-year-old's outrageous pride. I told my mother that my teacher had said that I was smarter than most of the people around us. She stopped walking immediately and knelt down so that we were at eye level with each other. As the crowd flowed past us on either side, she told me that every one of the people around us had a secret wisdom. Each of them knew something more about how to live, about being happy, about loving than I did. I looked up at the people passing by. They were all adults. Is this because they are all grown up, Mama? I asked, taken aback. No, darling, it will always be that way, she told me. It is how things are. I looked again at the crowd moving around us. Suddenly, I wanted to know them all, to learn from them, to be friends. This lesson became lost among many of the others of my childhood. But shortly after I became a physician, I had a dream that was so powerful that I remembered it even though I did not understand it. In this dream, I am standing in the threshold of the door. I seem to have been standing there for a long time. People are passing through the door. I can't see where they are going or where they have come from, but somehow this does not seem to matter. I meet them one at a time in the doorway. As they pass through, they stop and look into my face for a moment, and they hand me something, each one something different. They say, here is something for you to keep. And then they go on. I feel enormously grateful. Perhaps we are all standing in such a doorway. Some people pass through it on their way to the rest of their lives, lives that we may never know or see. Others pass through it to their deaths and the unknown. Everyone leaves something behind. When I awoke from that dream, I had a sense of the value of every life. Hi everyone, welcome and good morning. It's so great to have you all here with me today, and it's wonderful to be able to share this with you. I was raised in 2 separate, chaotic households. My divorced parents had few parenting skills. They were also saddled with their own personal and unresolved issues, as well as financial poverty. Neither one offered stability, much parental guidance, or a secure living situation. I've lived in neighborhoods filled with crime and drugs, among others struggling with poverty and the hostile environment. While very young, I was left to my own devices to make my own way in the world. I frequently considered consider my early training to have come from the School of Hard Knocks with a degree in survival and self-protection. Throughout my journey, teachers have consistently appeared everywhere along my path. I've often said, I'm a self-made woman, and for many years I believed that to be true. I wanted credit for all that I had already and would become. I certainly wanted to deny any kudos to my family of origin. I needed to soothe my tattered self-esteem, my insecurities, and my need to detach from my origins. I wanted to be released from everything I thought might define me and direct me in a negative way. I was trying to be smart, strong, and independent in so many ways. But long before I grew into adulthood, and for many years afterward, it was the abundance and wisdom of my teachers that guided me. Some with much care and kindness, and already by the time I was 11 years old, I'd begun a conscious journey, creating a foundation for my learning and my true self, my core self, a self-created person, one I chose to become. There were serious choices I would need to make. I also needed to ask for help, and some pretty fierce warriors to enlist on my behalf. And they seemed to magically appear. Maybe I just opened my eyes to them. They'd been on the sidelines all along. On my path, I have found an army of wise social workers, guidance counselors, strangers young and old, my own inner voice, therapists, school teachers, music directors, ministers, and everyday people. I began to understand so many of the lessons that I was learning. I found an abundance beyond my greatest expectation. I still well up with gratitude when I reflect on the help and guidance that I received. It's been an amazing path that's led me to where and who I am today. Some people believe in angels. I like that concept. I believe in teachers and lessons, guiding spirits and wisdom. Call it what you feel it is. I have had many versions of all of the above. I know that teachers are everywhere along the path. And I know that schoolrooms can be anywhere. In a 24-hour day, a beach, a flower or a tree, a bird on a branch, a church, a meeting house, an anthill, the horizon, or the eyes of an infant. It can be that place inside that holds your truth, the one that is full of wonder or of sorrow, pain, and confusion. One morning as I sat alone watching the bay, the buffleheads swimming all scattered about, I noticed two gliding hawks in the distance, approaching swiftly. The tiny bufflehead duck spied them as well. A split second before the powerful hawk could drive its hunting talons into one of them, they all dove beneath the water. When they reappeared, they were all swimming together in a protective cluster. They remained clustered in their community of tiny black and white bobbing, while the hawks disappeared into the distance. They were now too big of a target. Immediately, I understood the safety of community and the value of teamwork. I didn't know that I was at school. I was learning what I needed from it. I thought. But later, when I reflected on it, I realized I'd been isolating that week and was feeling lonely and vulnerable. Aha, I too needed my flock. I find signals, signs that I'm being taught frequently. try to stay open to lessons, have faith that my teachers will appear when I need them. I know that if I ask for help and guidance, it will appear. I can even ask in a silent way, and still it will happen. Some call that praying. I like that concept. I believe it is my pure energy of intentions, a focused direction when I'm making an internal query that brings about an answer. Call it what you feel it is. I have had many versions of all of the above. The answers and the lessons are everywhere along the path. I have a deep respect for my teachers and their lessons, some the hard way with knocks, bumps, and bruises, and for the smoother flowing lessons handed to me with patience, caring, and love. Understand that I'm no fool. I certainly prefer the smoother ones. I embrace my aha moments. They let me know that I have learned something new, that I've been reminded of an old lesson, that I hear the wisdom in a sermon or a song, a poem or a voice. I listen, reflecting as often as this hectic life allows, by watching nature around me, people around me, animals, insects, oceans, tides, a celestial array, the seasons, and the gardens. So I never had a flower garden until I came to live in Provincetown. My first landlord here asked if I wanted to tend the outside garden and collect the rents for her, for a break in my rental costs. Of course, yes, I said. It was November. As spring approached, I confessed to her that I didn't know anything about flowers. I'd only grown vegetables in my grandfather's dirt at his house. She assured me there was nothing to it. She told me I'd learn. Well, they never got one flower from that wisteria vine over there. I didn't know the difference between a perennial or an annual. Well, the mnemonic device I still use to remember the difference. Little by little, though, over the course of 30 years, I have managed to create a flower garden of my own design. I maintain and manipulate it constantly. I've learned through the plants and the flowers themselves what they like and where they like to grow, or not, just by listening and watching, caring for it. Helpful hints from friends, neighbors, and shopkeepers have helped me to grow it. I feel this garden is my gift to our busy neighborhood on Convo Street. Another lesson I've learned is that I love feeling grounded in that dirt. It itself is a teacher for me. I've been given lessons within all the bits and pieces of knowledge to create this flower garden, and I receive joy by sharing it. I've had so many kinds of teachers showing me the interconnection of everything along life's path, showing me how it all works together. My neighbors now return from their busy day. They're greeted with the life and future hopes that the flowers and the dirt patch provide throughout the seasons. I'm no master gardener. I don't always know the flower or the plant's formal names, but I know they're teachers of lessons too. And I may always feel my painfully rough edges and my past as I continue my journey in growth. But today, I choose to say that I'm just a diamond in the rough. I can face my future with hope and faith that when I am ready, a teacher will appear. I can allow myself to take time for reflection in a busy day, to hear the lessons of the day. I can nurture the sadnesses and sorrows. I can trust that I will be able to ask for help when I need it. Some people believe in miracles. I like that concept. I believe in luck, divine intervention, a living path and spiritual protection. Call it what you feel it is. I have had many versions of all of the above. I know that lessons aren't everywhere along the path. Saying I am a self-made woman is now only to state that I have chosen an openness to my teachers, my encounters, and the learning possibilities as they are presented. I have chosen to invite and celebrate the lessons and the teachers. I believe the teachers, the schoolrooms, and lessons are everywhere along the path. In the words of Edward B. Litton, life is like playing a violin solo in public and learning the instrument as one goes on. It is a great fortune for me to find the lessons I need to learn, some that need repeating many times to be sure, some more gentle, some vague, but some very direct. I have come far from those early years of my childhood and those struggles and fears. I have a safe home, community, and friendships. I've chosen living fully as a goal, with dignity and worth, and to see it in all I encounter as well. I've incorporated hope into my repertoire of emotions today. I credit my teachers for guiding me to become who I've chosen to be. I have found my very own angels. The prayers, the lessons, and even the miracles that I need to no longer just survive or live obsessed with my own self-protection, but to live and to thrive. To allow myself vulnerability and the self-confidence I need at times. I can move out of my comfort zones, test the waters around me, knowing I won't die. It's not always easy to feel these miracles. Sometimes I'm just too tired, too. But in my deepest self, I'm always grateful. I am always in my faith of these beliefs. I know there is a path I must stay aware of to follow. There's a path to a perfect contentment that I strive to stay on. There are many more lessons I hope to hear, to learn, to maybe even pass on to others who need them, who are ready to learn them. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote words that inspire me to stay in right relation to the teachers and the lessons along the path. He says, "There is guidance for each of us, and by lowly listening we shall hear the right word. Place yourself in the middle of the stream of power and wisdom which flows into your life. Then, without effort, you are impelled to truth and to perfect contentment." Amen.